Hello, Viking.TV friends. My name is Lia Da Silva Müller, and today we will be talking about the Panama Canal and Central America itinerary. I work in the Product Development and Land Operations Department in Basel, and I've had the pleasure of setting up many of these itineraries together with the fabulous people that work in our department. And I hope I will have as many answers for your queries as possible. Heather will join me after the presentation with the questions you'll be submitting.
Today we will be talking about the Panama Canal and Central America itinerary. This journey will allow you to discover some of the region's most legendary cities, colonial pasts, and ancient civilizations in Cozumel, Belize, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Jamaica. You will maximize your time here, visiting 7 countries in 15 days. Here is a video about this fascinating itinerary.
Embrace the wonders of Panama and Central America on this remarkable 15-day voyage with Viking. Your journey begins in Miami, a city known for its iconic Art Deco architecture, especially South Beach. On Key West, step into the home of Ernest Hemingway, the sanctuary where he created some of his greatest novels. Then soak up the relaxed atmosphere along Duval Street. The Isle of Cozumel, Mexico brings haunting reminders of ancient empires, as well as the chance to explore the world's second largest coral reef system. Belize is breathtakingly beautiful. Lush jungles welcome you, filled with the sounds of exotic birds and howling monkeys. And sights like the stunning Mayan ruins of Altunja. Your next stop, the Honduran island of Roatan, brings unspoiled Caribbean beauty, with glimmering white sand beaches, spectacular botanical gardens, and pristine coral reefs. Then it's on to Costa Rica's Puerto Limón, where the region's majestic natural wonders are on display, along the winding canals and in the villages of Tortuguero. Panama's Caribbean port of Colón offers a timeless window into local culture. And at Chagres National Park, enduring traditions can be witnessed firsthand at an Embera village. The magnificent Panama Canal, one of the world's great engineering marvels, will capture your imagination as your Viking ship makes its way through the mighty locks. Your final port, Jamaica's Montego Bay, welcomed Christopher Columbus in 1494, and its centuries-old architecture awaits your exploration. 2 days of sun and tranquil waters follow, before your memorable Viking journey concludes back in vibrant Miami.
Panama Canal and Central America is a 15-day journey round trip from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. On this itinerary, you will discover the colonial past of Cozumel, glimpse Belize's Mayan civilization, and Panama's Embera people. Gaze upon sandy beaches and turquoise waters in Honduras and lush rainforests in Costa Rica. Marvel at the workings of the Panama Canal and admire a colorful blend of past and present in Jamaica. Now, let's take a look at the itinerary map that outlines how you will travel to the Panama Canal and Central America. We embark in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where you can experience the sun-drenched coast, followed by historic Key West. You will then sail the Gulf of Mexico to Mexico, Belize, Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, and Jamaica. Your voyage will conclude where it began in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. For those of you who would like to arrive earlier, get oriented, and experience more of Fort Lauderdale prior to your sailing, Viking offers a one-night Fort Lauderdale extension. This will allow you to relax and enjoy Fort Lauderdale, also known as the Venice of America, with its Venetian-style waterways. Currently, this itinerary is offered twice in late February, as well as October, November, and December. And weather-wise, they're all good options. Late February is an ideal time to travel as temperatures begin to rise in Central America, supplemented by plenty of sunshine. Temperatures average from the low 60s to high 80s Fahrenheit, which translates to 17 Celsius to about 27. Likewise, October, November, and December are also excellent months to visit. The region is coming out of its rainy season into the same dry and warm temperatures we expect for late February. Now, let's explore Panama Canal in Central America, port by port. On day 1, we welcome you to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where your voyage begins. Some of you will join us after your Fort Lauderdale pre-extension stay. Others will arrive today. If you have arranged air travel through Viking, we will transfer you from the airport to your waiting ocean ship. After boarding your ship and settling into your stateroom, the afternoon is yours to relax or explore the city on your own. You may choose to take a stroll along its 24-mile span of golden beaches or venture into Las Olas Boulevard, considered the heart and soul of Fort Lauderdale. Next up is Key West, Florida, known as the southernmost city in the U.S. and a destination with an average of 260 days of sunshine per year. It is home to the Florida Straits and one of the largest barrier coral reefs in the world. It is also famous for its sunsets, with crowds gathering every evening in Mallory Square, along with street performers, musicians, and food vendors. You may also experience the fascinating life of great American writer Ernest Hemingway. You will learn about his past by visiting the Ernest Hemingway Home and Museum, where you will discover memorabilia like his writing desk and perhaps have a chance to meet some of the famed six-toed Hemingway's cats. You will take a guided tour and explore where he wrote some of his most memorable works, like the short story The Snows of Kilimanjaro and his novel To Have and to Have Not. Our journey continues as we sail the Gulf of Mexico, framed by the US, Mexico, and Cuba, and famous for its pristine, sparkling shorelines and large coral reefs. It is abundant with flora, fauna, and marine life. Common plants that are found in the region include seagrasses, algae, mangroves, and marsh plants, as well as several species of dolphin, whales, and sharks that swim in its warm waters. Our next destination is Cozumel, a stunning island in Mexico's majestic Caribbean region. It is world-renowned for its scuba diving and proximity to numerous top dive sites. It is also home to the Mesoamerican Reef System, the largest barrier reef in the Western Hemisphere, stretching nearly 700 miles from the northern Yucatan Peninsula down to the Honduran Bay Islands. The image here is of the Mayan ruins of San Gervasio, the largest Mayan ruin site on Cozumel. Once a holy site dedicated to Ichel, the goddess of fertility, and a pilgrimage destination for Mayan women from all over the country. But if you are feeling adventurous, you may choose to break away from the crowds and experience the wild side of Cozumel's lush jungle with a guided ATV tour. Journeying through the heart of the forest along rugged terrain, you will spot birds and butterflies, explore a replica of a Mayan house, and learn about harvesting chicle, the basic ingredient in chewing gum. Our next stop is a nation established by the Mayans around 1500 BCE. It later became a European settlement and a colony of British Honduras. Independence was finally achieved on September 21st, 1981, with the country being renamed Belize. You will have the opportunity to explore the history of the area when you visit the Lamanai Mayan ruins, an ancient Mesoamerican site. Today, Belizean people represent a rich melting pot of culture and include Mayan, Mestizo, Creole, Garifuna, East Indian, Mennonite, Arab, and Chinese populations. Belize, a country with nearly 450 islands, including those on the outer atolls, is home to the second largest barrier reef in the world, first one being the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. You will have the option to explore some of the 180 miles of coral formations. During this guided excursion, you will have the opportunity to swim through turquoise waters and come face to face with colorful fish, coral, and marine creatures. Roatan's sunny, sandy beaches make it a jewel of Honduras, which is the largest and most developed of the Bay of Islands. While you're there, enjoy a relaxing, tranquil day on white sand shoreline of Tabiana Beach. The laid-back atmosphere invites you to sip on a cool beverage while enjoying a traditional fare of cooked meats. A number of water sport activities, such as kayaking, scuba diving, and snorkeling, are also available. You may also experience the lush jungles of Roatan when you take a guided walk along the lush Carambola Botanical Gardens. Immerse yourself in more than 40 acres of manicured trails. Along the way, you will enjoy sweeping views of the island and admire dozens of plants like orchids, fruit trees, and the famous Honduran mahogany tree. You might also catch a glimpse of small wildlife like parrots and monkeys. We will continue with a day of sailing, which gives you the opportunity to further immerse yourself in the destinations we visit. Join the onboard Viking resident historian for one of our iconic lectures or roundtable discussions. Here's a video about our onboard cultural enrichment program and commitment to destination-focused learning.
Viking is committed to the idea of destination-driven learning, and the Resident Historian program offers many opportunities for our guests to really learn and explore and delve into the concept of the place. There's nothing like it in terms of the passion and the excitement that comes with sharing experiences. This is what I love. There are two aspects to the Resident Historian program. On the one hand, we have iconic lectures to provide a context for learning, thinking about, and anticipating the commentary from our local guides once we reach the port, and then be able to learn more from him or her on one of those excursions. We include aspects of the architecture, of the painting or sculpture or music, what it is that was so important in that chapter of history that was coming to life, perhaps for the very first time in Western civilization. But we also offer what we call round tables. These are smaller sessions that return one to a university setting with a discussion section. Guests who are keenly interested in a more minute or a specialist subject about the area that we're visiting. So that discussion section format is a little bit more intimate, breaks down some of the barriers of our large Star Theater audience, and allows us to also learn from one another. The resident historian also addresses various aspects of world history. So it's not just the ancient history, but also thinking about the people of the medieval periods and even up to the contemporary concerns. A resident historian may deal with the history of thousands of years ago, but as well the important and significant aspects of history in our lifetimes. Our resident historians are drawn from a wide variety of different facets of the field of history. All of them have either had teaching or lecturing experience and might have expertise in areas of military history, maritime history, perhaps art history or cultural history, music history, even Arctic exploration history, and they become part of a Viking faculty. What they bring to the enrichment program is of a specialist nature, but they're able to share their enthusiasm about what it is about their aspect and approach to history, why it's important and why it's significant for our guests. The resident historian is also on board for the duration of the itinerary, not only attending the other lectures, attending and participating in different excursions up and in the ports, but also dining with our guests and around, available to field questions and to further discussions that may have been brought up from an aspect of an iconic lecture or perhaps one of those roundtable discussions. The opportunity to have that interface, that one-on-one learning with a resident historian. This is something that Viking prides itself on making very important, accessibility to the resident historians in so many different places aboard the ship. There's also plans for the resident historian to lead a group that would go in further depth, privileged access to learn about a site with the resident historian, to understand the nature of a museum, of an archaeological site, of some aspect of the contemporary culture that could be brought to life by having more time in depth spent with a knowledgeable expert. The resident historian is the guide at your side. For adult learning, there's nothing like it. History pervades the Viking ship, and we're very proud of that.
As we reached the halfway point in our journey, we arrived to San Jose, Costa Rica's capital, a tropical paradise, and the main city of San Jose's province. Costa Rica is home to an astonishing diversity of landscapes and climate zones. More than a quarter of Costa Rica's total land area is comprised of national parks, biological reserves, and wildlife sanctuaries, making up for about 5% of the world's species of flora and fauna. Whilst here, you may choose to enjoy your privileged access off-road experience in Costa Rica's countryside, including a rainforest walk. You will travel to the banks of the Banano River through areas of the countryside previously only accessible by horse. Once there, your guide will educate you on the flora and fauna during an informative walk through the rainforest. Your excursion also includes a visit to a banana plantation to learn about the production of this fruit. And as we reach Panama's coast, you will find Colón, the country's second largest city. Originally called Aspinwall, its name was eventually changed to Colón, meaning Christopher Columbus in Spanish. Among notable landmarks is San Jerónimo, located in Portobello, which was once a major trade route and features a series of cannons used to protect the bay from pirates in colonial times. You can explore the area as well as several former watchtowers and officers' quarters. You may also get an intimate look at Panama's warm and welcoming indigenous tribal culture when you meet the Imbere tribe, one of 7 indigenous Panamanian groups, living much as they did in pre-Columbian times. Upon arrival, you will be welcomed by the chief and enjoy a ceremonial dance. You will also have the opportunity to immerse yourself in their culture, watching them making handcrafted items such as baskets, clothing, and jewelry that you can purchase. We will continue with the Panama Canal, one of history's most impressive engineering constructions. It is a 51-mile, or 82 kilometers, waterway that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans and enables transport for various goods in a shorter amount of time. It has been ranked as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world by the American Society of Civil Engineers and is used by an average of 14,000 ships per year. Once a busy route for ships from the Old World, ferrying supplies and people to the New World, today the Caribbean exudes tranquility and calm. Enjoy the amenities of your ship as you sail. In fact, now that we're well into the second half of your journey, this would be a great time to relax and enjoy the onboard spa. Here you can experience the Norwegian bathing tradition by unwinding in the sauna and steam room and then visiting the snow grotto, a sanctuary of fluffy snow and chilled air. As we near the end, we call to Montego Bay, the second largest city in Jamaica, and originally called Bahía de Manteca, or Butter Bay. It is a commercial center with cobblestone streets and known for its sparkling white sandy beaches, the lively and colorful markets, and laid-back atmosphere. Major trade includes fruit and other produce, and notable beach spots include Doctor's Cave Beach with its crystal clear waters, as well as Tropical Beach and Rose Hall Beach. You may also choose to visit one of the natural treasures of Jamaica, Dunn's River Falls. The falls cascade 180 feet down a series of stepped limestone, flowing right to the ocean. You can choose to follow your guide up an adventurous route, a stairway of rocks to observe the falls, or stay dry by climbing an adjacent wooden stairway. As you sail these legendary waters, the distinct light of the Caribbean sun dances on the sea like dazzling diamonds. This is your last night on board. Perhaps you will spend it savoring an authentic Italian meal in Manfredi's or sample international fare in the World Cafe. Your voyage concludes back in Fort Lauderdale. After breakfast on board, many of you will disembark and proceed to the airport for your return flight home. Or perhaps you have opted to continue your voyage with one of our extension packages. The one-night Fort Lauderdale extension is the perfect way to stretch your legs after your journey and explore Fort Lauderdale's array of restaurants or wander the local sites. I hope you enjoyed this detailed look at the itinerary, and I thank you for joining me today on Viking.TV. This concludes our presentation. Now I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about this itinerary or traveling with Viking. Over to you, Heather, for the questions.
Thank you, Lia. Our first question tonight is from John in Florida, and he asks, how long does it take to transit the Panama Canal, and is a commentary provided?
The Panama Canal full transit will take up to a day. We do a partial transit, so that will be a half day. The captain will provide commentary from the bridge, and of course your entertainment team will also provide commentary.
Thank you. And Barry in Sarasota asks, will the ship use the old Panama Canal locks or go through the new section?
I will actually have to check on that one, yes. I am not sure where the navigational part is, but we'll get back to you.
Perfect, thank you. So Rebecca in Lake Orion in the United States asks, which ports would you recommend for spending a bit of time on the beach?
Cozumel, off the top of my head, would be the first one. The beaches are pristine. Of course, weather-wise, all of the destinations are going to lend itself to a good day at the beach. Roatan will also have very good options. Jamaica, pretty much everywhere, I would say.
Thank you, Lia. And Cameron in Crystal River interested in the Mayan ruins that you can visit, but there seems to be quite a choice, including flying over Chichen Itza. Can you help us decide which would be the best option for getting an understanding of Mayan culture?
Well, Belize would be your best option for that. And in Belize, we have three sites that we visit. We visit Lamanai, we will visit Altunja, and we will visit Zunantunich. Both of them are Mayan sites. The guides will provide history, will provide commentary, will answer all your questions. If you're looking for something within a closer driving distance from the port, then Lamanai would be it. Probably the highest significant site that we can visit would be Zunantunich. Altunja is a very close second. So it all depends on how much time are you looking to spend to travel, and there will be an option for however much time you want to spend.
Thank you, Lia. David in Fort Lauderdale asks, can you tell us a bit about what there is to do during the days at sea?
So much, so many options. So of course we have a fully dedicated team on board to make sure that your days at sea are filled with activities. They will include lectures, they will include documentaries, they will include games. So it's really up to what you want to do. The spa, of course, we can't forget about that. There's just so much to do. I think you'll be pressed to make a choice, not to find something to do.
Thank you, Lia. Bridget in Tucson, Arizona asks, what kind of temperatures can we expect for a March departure?
So temperatures will be, I would say, an average 70s. They can go up to 80s. So it is a very good, it's a very good time of the year to travel to that area. You are sure to get your dose of vitamin D and to enjoy some of the sun that is so characteristic of the Caribbean.
Thank you. John in the United States asks, can you visit Fort San Lorenzo in Panama?
Off the top of my head, I don't think so. But again, we can check and get back to you. But that's also something, if you have a particular interest, that's always something that that you can check with our onboard team once you get on the ship, or ahead of the time you can email us and we can check on that option for you if that's something that you find it's not featured on the programs we offer for that specific port.
Perfect, thank you. Taryn in Clayton in the United States asks, is there an opportunity to see sloths in the wild?
You may be so lucky in Costa Rica, but of course, all sightings of wildlife are not guaranteed. And we try our best, but it cannot be guaranteed, yes.
Perfect, thank you. Tia in the United States asks, what brand of sunscreen would be recommended so that we don't damage the coral reefs when we're snorkeling?
So we don't have a particular brand of sunscreen we recommend, but the sunscreens that are acceptable, they are properly labeled. And if you do a quick search at the pharmacy, you'll find that the sunscreens come properly labeled with being coral and reef friendly. And that's what you want to look for.
Perfect, thank you. Eva in Jacksonville Beach asks, what are the currency requirements for this cruise? Do all the destinations accept dollars?
Yes, they do. They are very open to tourism, and they do their best to accommodate.
Perfect, thank you. Now we have Richard in Leesburg in Virginia. He asks, I'm keen to try the snorkeling excursion, but I'm a little concerned about the fitness levels required. What do you think?
It is a tough question. So snorkeling, it is swimming in open waters. Of course, you are provided with a vest. You are accompanied by the crew of the ship. You will be fully supervised during the entire time. But you do need to have a fitness level that allows you to stay afloat and swimming in open waters. So it's your personal assessment of yourself. And then, of course, the ground operators that we partner with, they go through their own assessment too, just to make sure that we're fully compliant and that we take care of you as much as possible.
Perfect. Thank you, Lia. Zelda in Big Sandy says, I'd love to see the really colourful parrots. Which is the best excursion for this?
When we get to Belize, Honduras, Costa Rica as well, we have a couple of excursions per port that feature wildlife. Again, the sightings are not guaranteed, but the team on board will be able to point you into the actual tours that have the highest chance for the sightings.
Perfect. And Barry in Sarasota just asks to clarify, so are shore excursions available to book based on the cabin grade? So I think he's asking if that policy still applies, where you can book earlier if you've booked a higher cabin grade.
That is still our current policy, yes.
Perfect, thank you. Paul in the United States asks, is there a cruise itinerary that goes all the way through the Panama Canal and out into the Pacific Ocean?
Yes, there is. The Panama Canal itinerary that goes from Fort Lauderdale all the way to Los Angeles. We do have some sailings coming up, so.
Perfect, thank you, Lia. And Meaty, she says, thank you for all this information. Any packing tips for this itinerary, please?
When traveling to the Caribbean, like in most of the destinations of this world, it's always good to plan a little bit for the unforeseen. So even though we are going in what is their sunny season, you should always pack a light rain jacket, especially with going to Costa Rica into the rainforest. A light rain jacket that could double as a windbreaker. It's always a good thing to have. You never know when the weather may turn a little bit on you, and you want to be prepared for all circumstances. Apart from that, some good walking shoes for the destinations where we're going into lengthier sites, a good water bottle so that you can be prepared for all instances. But I think that would be it, and sunscreen.
Thank you. Question here from Robert in Jupiter in the United States. He asks, if we do the Panama train excursion, will we still be on board for when the ship enters the locks?
So when we depart with our shore excursions, the ship will be docked. The transit happens after we leave the port. So yes, you'll be definitely on board for the transit of the ship.
Thank you. And a final question for tonight here is from Barbara in the United States. And she says, what's the difference in the experience depending on which month you go? For example, would you recommend going later in the winter or in the spring months?
There is, in terms of temperature, there is no difference between one and the other. It's just the chances of rain. The later months, of course, being a little bit closer to the rainy season, they may have a higher chance of rain, but the temperatures are the same in both times of the year that we travel there, and I think there's really no bad time to do this cruise.
Perfect, thank you, Lia. I think that's everybody's questions for this evening. So short and sweet, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us.